felt this week, and how do you feel ahead of it now that it's so close?
It was nice this week to get some rest and just to work on ourselves. I'm super excited just to get out there, play, have fun, hooping.
What stands out to you is the difference in prep between this and a regular season game that you've done so far?
I think a little more detailed base. You get into you get deeper on who everybody is and their tendencies, and the game plan is maybe a little more complex.
Do you guys focus more on yourselves or try to think about what the Bucks do? How do you balance those things?
We got to focus on ourselves first, but also understand the threats that they propose to us and how we're going to deal with those things. Yeah.
You put any pressure on yourself, or is it easy for you to kind of bury that, put it away, just get ready?
I haven't put much pressure. I haven't felt much pressure. I'm just trying to enjoy hooping in this experience that I've dreamed of playing for a while. So.
How are they different since you saw them last? I mean, it's obviously been several months since you guys played all those games against them. What do you see as the biggest changes they've made?
Changes they've made. It's tough to say. What do you think of the biggest changes they've made?
They seem like they're a little bit better on defense.
A little bit better on defense?
They're a little bit, that two-man game between Giannis and Dame is a little better, but you don't know if Giannis is going to play.
Yeah, I mean, a two-man game is going to be tough to guard just because of the threat of both of them. We have a plan for that. And in terms of their defense, I mean, we're the number one offensive league. I think we're equipped to score on any night as long as we focus on ourselves and do what we need to do.
What changes if Giannis doesn't play? I mean, obviously they still have talent there. They can play Bobby there. He's been pretty productive. I mean, just how do they operate differently when it's not available?
Different lineups. I think you'll have the ball in Dame's hands a little bit more. You'll have maybe different sizes in lineups. Maybe play a little bit faster with a smaller lineup. Get into their depth a little bit, so you'll see more guys at the end of the bench. But in terms of what we got to do is kind of simple.
You talked about it with the Cavs guards in the game right before the end of the regular season, but being a team effort to slow some of those guys with Dame, especially with you, is it similar to you in that way?
100%. I think this is not a me versus Dame thing. This is a whole team effort. We're going to put a bunch of different guys in probably, and we're going to try a bunch of different things, but we got to do it as a team and work as a unit on that side of the floor.
Any vets or coaches been particularly helpful for you this week ahead of your first postseason? Doug was mentioned Pascal yesterday, for example.
Yeah, P's been really good to have with us, especially during this run, just because he shows his experience when he talks, and he understands what it takes to win at this level at this time of the year. So it's been good to have him. JJ's always a good vet to bounce things off of. And the coaching staff, obviously, we got a lot of winners on the coaching staff been to that point too. So I feel comfortable in what they got going.
What kind of, if anything, extra importance can Game 1 have for tone setting, being the first team or not first team to adjust to all things like that?
Every game's important.
I don't know if starting the series had any sort of change on how the rest of it generally went to you.
You're not getting anything.
I was just curious.
Yeah, I mean, every game is worth one game, so they're all extremely important.
We kind of asked you about this yesterday, but how do you feel just coming out of this now that you've gone through the whole week of practices? Just how do you feel about what you guys were able to accomplish?
We're ready to go. We're ready to go. I've been packed since Tuesday.
Right.
So we're anxious to get going. It's a great opportunity to compete for a young team. You know we're going against a highly experienced, playoff hardened group that has achieved a lot, and so regardless of who plays, it's hard. It's hard.
Guys have talked about watching the play-in games and seeing that physicality. Is there any way you can prep them for that in a practice setting in any way?
Well, we talk about it. We've had 4 days of practice, and we've looked at a lot of visual things about it. You only want to do so much banging as you prepare, but until these guys actually get into the game, there's no way to really prepare them for what's coming. And so that's why we're all anxious and ready to get going.
So how much did you miss this as a coach? And just how much did you miss this as a coach? Just preparing for this and what this is like.
Yeah, I mean this is what it's all about. So yeah, I mean going back to my playing days, I lost count of the number of playoff games I've been involved with. You know, as a player, assistant coach, head coach, it's approaching 300. So, I've been around this a lot, and this is why you play. This is why you coach.
Regular, just like any other game. It honestly feels like it's not really this big of a build up to a game for me outside of like the first game of the year. You know, I feel like it's training camp right now, but I'm really excited about it. I think we all are as a group. It's been a long week of practices and stuff, so ready to just get to competing, and basketball being on TV, that's exciting for everybody too. So it feels good.
Has having a full week like this helped you mentally prepare, do you think, instead of just being forced to jump right in? How do you kind of think about that?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's been good just to get a little bit of a break, a mental break, kind of not be playing basketball. You're still practicing, but just get a little mental break from playing in games and stuff, and get to go back, watch more film. And obviously, they always talk about playoff time, being able to study the other team more, so that's good too. Like get full scouting reports versus normal in the season. You just really scout the day before or scout the day of. So that's nice. So I'm looking forward to that.
When's the last time you've scouted anybody that deep? Going back to college, basically?
Yeah. College scouts, just because you got time to really build up to it, But that's probably most days I've had to scout a team since like college. Yeah.
Does this week mean anything for your hamstring, or did you feel like during the end of the season it was already to the point where a week off didn't matter?
No, I just feel like I've kind of hit my second wind over the last few weeks, like my body as a whole, hamstring, just body all together. So, this week has been, it's been nice, but it hasn't really done anything for my hamstring. My hamstring kind of has went back to being normal as of late, so that's good.
Rick said you guys have to prepare as if Giannis is playing. Chris Middleton said they're preparing as if he's not. How will that dynamic impact game one, if anything at all?
Yeah, obviously he's one of the best players in the world. I think you have to prepare the right way, because I think that when you prepare like he's not going to play and then he does play, it's probably harder to adjust,
Yes.
But I would say we're preparing for obviously what would be most difficult for us, obviously having Giannis on the floor, and I think they're preparing for what would be most difficult for them with him off the floor, So I think both teams have to prepare for either way. It's like we've been running through we run through every set with him playing versus with him playing. So, who knows what can happen over the course of the series. He's a freak of nature, one of the greatest athletes in the world. So, if he played tomorrow, it wouldn't surprise me at all, But we just got to prepare, like anything can happen.
What stood out to you about what Bobby can do with them and how they still operate, because of how productive a season he's had?
Yeah, I think the game that they did beat us in Milwaukee, I think that he really impacted the game. Just his presence on the floor, him scoring the ball, but his tenacity, what he does defensively. Obviously I got to play with Bobby this summer at USA. I love the guy, I love the way he competes. So, I think that's what he brings to the table that is, difficult to match for people. And I think that we're prepared we have to understand that, the way he's been playing this year, making shots, defending, doing everything that he does at a high level, we got to be able to match his physicality, but everybody's physicality as a group, but he's kind of him and Pat are, they're tone setters on that end and in terms of physicality, so we got to be prepared for that.
With all the time that you've spent getting ready for Milwaukee, is there anything about them that's different that you notice now compared to when you guys were playing them in the regular season? Because a lot of it is.
I think it's kind of more or less the same for the most part of what they do. I think Doc has them as a transition defensive team a lot better than they were before, so that's improved for them. But I think that, they are probably adjusted to, trying to play the 4 on the 5 a little bit more so they could switch down the line. Rex Kalamian, their defensive coach, was with me my rookie year, and he loves to switch down the line, so that doesn't surprise me at all. So it looks like they're moving more towards that. So I think that's switched a little bit. But even when you go back and watch our games against them, they did cross-match a little bit, especially in second halves of games, putting Giannis on the big and putting Brook on our 4-man. So that'll be interesting to see how they defend.
What did that Grant Hill surprise mean to you?
It was really cool. I just think USA just does things the right way, and him coming and meet me in person and surprising everybody. You guys, I'm sure, have seen the videos of him surprising everybody. It's a really cool thing, and cool for him to be here. Get to talk shop a little bit and catch up, and obviously we spend a lot of time with him in the summer. So it was a really cool experience.
So was that before we talked to you last, or after? Like, was it before they formally announced it? Or not?
Yeah, day before. Yeah.
You keeping the wins
I
for the
figured.
playoffs?
Yeah, I'm not coming here though.
You been to France before?
Never been. So I'm excited about that.